Well, we already know that it's going to be Theresa May for the Prime Minister of the country rather than Andrea Leadsom. But a lot of you guys have been asking me to have a look at Andrea Leadsom's chart. She's obviously made an impression on you all, as she did me. I was watching her in the debates and she came across as very positive, very reasonable. She managed to stay calm. She didn't get drawn into any shouting, arguing or aggressive behaviour. And she seemed to have a very good grasp of the facts and a way of putting it over. Now with Andrea, I feel it's slightly similar to Nigel Farage. If you cast your mind back to the 2015 debates prior to the election, Nigel Farage made a massive impression in the election, in debates. He got people talking, but when it came to the actual general election, he didn't even win his seat down in Kent. And I think it's similar with Andrea. Pluto was affecting her chart, as it was Nigel Farage's, and it was helping her to gain recognition and public support during the debates. But that Pluto's moved off now, so she's gone off the boil a little bit. That's probably why she's tendered her resignation, well, not her resignation, but she's pulled out of the race, and she's probably going to take a little step back for the moment. But I don't think we've seen the end of her. Now, let's have a look at her chart. Andrea is born May 13th, 1963, Aylesbury in the United Kingdom, so that makes her a Taurus. We have had a Taurus Prime Minister before, Mr. Tony Blair. Dare I mention that name? But this is a very different type of person. So, what interests me about Andrea's chart is she has her Sun in Taurus involved in a fixed T-square with Mars in Leo opposing Saturn in Aquarius, which is in turn squaring Sun in Taurus. Now this means she's got great stickability. She is very determined and she's not afraid of tackling something difficult with a very long-term goal in mind. She is a person who's got ambition, extremely hardworking, and able to go about things in an extremely structured way. Now, she also has her moon in Capricorn, which again emphasizes to me not only her ambition but her financial acumen. The earth signs are very financially savvy. So we have, with her moon in Capricorn, Sun and Mercury in Taurus, I see someone who's extremely logical, very good at dealing with facts and figures, very good at seeing the overall picture in terms of the finances. So I'm wondering if she is a potential candidate for Chancellor of the Exchequer. Maybe not right yet, possibly in 2 years' time, because I see some interesting transits for her in 2 years' time. But I think she should definitely be someone to keep an eye on, someone who plays a key role going forward. What Andrea also has is her Mercury is square Uranus. Now, that is the sign of people who sometimes say things on the hoof that can be a little bit ill-advised, a little bit controversial, that don't always go down well. So I think that she's got to work on that side of herself and think more closely. I know she said some controversial things over the weekend, and really, I think if anyone's going to be talking to a journalist for more than 10 minutes, they're probably going to trip up at some stage, especially if they're inexperienced. So I think that just shows that possibly a little inexperienced at the moment. Now, when I looked at her chart, I saw that the moon was activated 3 times by the solar arcs. That was by Saturn, also by the Sun, and by Mars, which indicates that she's come to public prominence, us represented by the moon, which represents the public at large, the electorate. We've come to notice her, and we're not going to forget about her. She's definitely made an impression on people, an impression that lasts, and I think that she can build on that popularity she now has to improve her political profile. I definitely think that she should be involved in the Brexit negotiations in some calibre, because although she's not very good at negotiating, Theresa May is a much stronger negotiator. She's better at going in, brokering deals, seeing both sides of the argument, being able to have that skill where you can portray that you're listening, but you're really pushing for what you want. Whereas I feel that Andrea, with all these Taurus, Leo, Aquarian signs in, is a little bit too stubborn, who might go into negotiations not flexible enough or not appearing flexible enough, which is a difficulty. Where I think Andrea is strong is she has good leadership skills and she's able to motivate people and make people feel confident. That's the whole Mars in Leo. They make people feel good. It's a good team leadership placement, that. So she can help the nation to feel more confident, more positive going forward. So it would be good for her to have a role where she is in like a publicity role, where she's seen by the public talking and putting things across, because she is able to put things across very logically and clearly, and also inspire more confidence. And she has a little bit more pizzazz possibly about her, a little bit more appeal for the public than Ice Queen Teresa. I don't find Teresa particularly icy myself. I just think she's conscientious, quite diligent, perhaps a little bit more held back. But I think Andrea would excel in a role where she is maybe putting across to people how things are going in the negotiations, and having a more leadership role in motivating people and helping with the financial side of things, which I feel from her background and also from her chart she has a very strong grasp of. So I think this is a lady that we need to take notice of. As I showed you, in the UK chart, Moon is being activated. Women are very important in the role of the UK going forward. And this is one woman who I think we are going to hear a lot more from. What I was also excited to read about Andrea Leadsom is she went to Warwick University, which is my old university. And I think it's high time we had some better representation in our leadership from universities other than Cambridge and Oxford. And what better place than Warwick?